Good morning, everybody. I'm just up early, like I get up early, and just had inspiration to speak. A lot of times in my videos, you want to see me talk about inspiration because I'm big into inspiration. Um, when I was younger, I grew up kind of talk a lot. You know, I like to communicate, but when you're younger, sometimes you don't know how to communicate. You're just saying a lot of things and sometimes it's not coming from inspiration. It's not coming from a divine place. It's just you want words to come out. And I remember when I was I think I was 18, and my dad used to hear me talking to some of my girlfriends on the phone. And my dad said, "Man, you talking too much." And I didn't really realize what he was saying, but I really realized that, sometimes you gotta slow down, calm down, and be intentional on what you're saying. Because sometimes you could be saying a lot of things, but you're not really saying anything. And sometimes the things you're saying are not relevant for any type of purpose. So as life went on, I started to think that when you speak, you should be inspirational to people and your environment around you. You should be purposeful when you talk to somebody. You should know why are you discussing certain things with somebody. Maybe you observe the person is down. Maybe you observe that an individual was not confident today. So you start saying things to lift them up, you know. And that's just with me because I've always liked to help. And I've always had an inspirational nature, but when you're young, just like when you're a young athlete or something like sometimes you got energy, you got zest. Sometimes you overuse your energy. But as you get seasoned and get a little bit mature, you start knowing when to slow down, when to speed up because, you know, as you grow, the better your expression and the more refined you get. So I think it's beautiful because I know that I've had a connection with listening to positive energy and positive forces since I was a shorty. Um, I'm gonna tell you an experience I had when I was a shorty. When I was in, I think it was fourth or fifth grade, I was outside and I was playing football with my friends. Now, the thing we used to do every day, just about, we would play football out in the street, on the side street. And when a car come, we would run to the side. Somebody say, "Car coming," we'll go to the side. We had our touchdown pole to pole. I stayed on Yates. We usually play against the street called Bensley in the Jeffrey Manor, right? So this particular time, everybody says, "Car coming, car coming." So I went to the side, right? And this one dude named Carlos was chasing me. He chased me, and by reaction, I ran right in the street and got hit by a car. Okay, what happened was it was this Nova. This dude named Dan was driving this Nova. I still remember. I think it was a 1979 Nova. He driving a car, and he hit me behind my legs and popped me up on the windshield. Now here go the interesting part. Um, When I got hit behind the legs, I felt these hands push me onto the windshield and hold me down. I had my hands backwards like this, holding onto the mirrors, and when the car stopped, I just slid off and fell to the ground. Now everybody was rushing, "You all right? You all right? You good? You good? You all right?" And I was like, "Yeah." I wasn't even really, I wasn't hurt, but I went to the side and said, "Man, those were angels. The angels protected me." I said that in my mind. Now, what do a fourth grader know about that kind of stuff like that? And it just came instinctual to me to say that in my mind. I said, "Those are angels. Angels held me down." Now, I did go to Christian school and I was going to Catholic school, so we did learn about things like that. But that was my first reaction and my first feeling that there was something outside of me and outside of for everybody that helped her. So I said, "Wow." Now I was so I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna say messed up, but I never even told my parents about that situation. I just kept it to myself. Nobody, the people that was out there that knew I got hit. My own parents didn't even know I got hit because I said I ain't gonna never be able to come back outside. So I just kept that to myself, and there I go again. You know, a lot of times we have experiences and we have things that's in us, but we don't have nowhere to share it, and maybe people won't understand. If I told my friends about that kind of stuff, they would laugh at me. You know, they'd say, "Man, get out of here, man. What are you talking about?" Now, I didn't have this voice or intuition about stuff that's been guiding me out through my whole life. I mean, one time, this was when I was in high school. I think I was a freshman. No, I was like junior, sophomore, junior. I remember, and me and my friends were playing out. My friend Harvey, Shannon brother Dijon. We were in the manor. We were playing outside. We were throwing the ball and all this other stuff. I had the feeling. I said, man, I need to just go home. Just go home. They said, what you going home for, man? I just went home. So I went home, and I think it was like 5 o'clock or something like that. I got home like 6 because I walked home. And I called all my friends up, and I couldn't catch none of them. And I talked to and the next day I said, man, what happened to y'all? Harvey said, man, they took us into the station. I said, what they take you to the station for? They said, we decided to climb on top of the school. It was a school we was in front of called Burnham. To climb on top of the school to get one of their balls that they went up there off. And when I was in there, the police came and found them and thought they were trying to break in or something like that, and they wouldn't listen to them, so they ended up taking them into jail for questioning, trying to kind of scare them or whatever they was trying to do. Now, my friend Harvey's mother was a police officer, and she was able just to get them cleaned up. But I remember saying, it's time to go home. Another case. I was 19 at this point. And interesting thing, it was on a Saturday. I remember it was still, it was like rainy day kind of. And I remember that day I was looking at this movie called Total Recall with Schwarzenegger, about a man who had lost his memory, and he was in an not gonna say alternate reality, but his memory was erased. He was a spy, a bad spy, and somebody erased his mind because he ended up being a good spy, and he ended up helping this rebellion group get the people that he was a spy for. This sounds kind of confusing, but it was just interesting to me because I was like, man, it made me start thinking that sometimes we don't know our own reality. It really made an impact on me because I said, man, this is interesting. So my friend called me about 5 or 6 o'clock, and he asked me, he said, man, you want to go out tonight? You want to go out with us tonight? It was this boy named Rodney. It was this boy named Torian, both of my friends. Still my friends today. But I said, nah, man, I just ain't feeling. He said, what, Nate? I mean, you got money in your pocket. You already told me you got $20, man. And, you dressed up. It's a Saturday. We don't got school. What you going to go? I said, nah, I think I want to go. I want to sit and look at Total Recall again. I was looking at that earlier. I want to look at the movie. He was like, whatever, man. So he called, he left. Now he called me at 11:30 at night, kind of whispered like, man, Nate, you won't believe what happened today. I said, what? He said, man, we was driving and the tire fell off the car on the expressway and we almost got in an accident. And I said, well, what happened? He said, well, one of my friends was kind of, gang banging. So he said these dudes, Rodney, they took his hubs off, took the screws off his wheel, and made them real loose so they'll fall off when you go at high speed. So when he went at high speeds, the whole thing rolled off. He said, you were right, man. I don't know how you knew that. You said, I just wasn't feeling it. And I just said, man, I'm not feeling this, man. I'm just not feeling it. So I've always had that intuition like all of us had. I've always known that it's forces listening to us and helping us. So another situation, this is the last one I'm going to speak, and then we're going to go forward. I was driving on, I think it was Wilson up north. I'm driving on Wilson. I got off the expressway, and I was going to this old folk music center. I may be saying it wrong, and I was going to give me an instrument. went right into it, and the guy pulled me over and said, "Hey man, you got your seatbelt on. I'm gonna give you a ticket." So the voice told me don't do it, but I wasn't obedient because I didn't trust it that time. But I heard it say, "Don't go down that street," but I did anyway. So what I'm saying that see, that's proof to me there is a soul, something inside of you, something directing you outside of this physical frame. But most of us get locked into the physical side of life that we can't see the soul because we only see the senses. You know, like, have you ever had an instinct about an individual? Like you say, man, I don't trust this person. Your soul said it, not you. Not like you just judging somebody, but you feel it deep down. But you know, and the thing about it is, it's not for you to just trust it all the time. Sometimes you just gotta get on the observation deck to see if this is true and real what you're seeing, because you don't want to prejudge anybody, but it means you just pay attention to see what you're right. And sometimes you don't listen to what you say, and then you get bamboozled on some situation. Could be business, could be friendship, could be out. But it's just so that's letting you know that there is a reality beyond this physical form that guides and direct you. You know, and you have to learn how to listen to it. Now, oftentimes in schools and all this other stuff, we're not taught to listen to that voice. We're taught to memorize things. We're taught to be logical. We're taught to be left brain rational, which you should have. You should have rationality, and you should have an intuitive, creative part to make a balance. Because you don't want to be too concoct. You want to be cocked up on one side and over strength on the other side. You want to be strengthening both sides. But you do have to listen to what yourself is telling you and know when yourself is telling you. Because, for example, those voices are tricky. Now, I had a friend of mine, and his name is Hezekiah. And I haven't seen the dude in years, but he was very imbalanced. And when I used to see him, I used to always give him the voice of reason because he would say things that, like, come on, man, stop that. You know, he would say stuff, I can move water with my hand. And I'm looking at him like, well, do it, dude. I put a water in my hand like this. I say, move this. He going like this. You see it moving? You see? I'm like, nah, I don't see nothing moving. Get out of here with that. So I was always making him be rational because I believe in the possibility of those things. But unless you do it and I see you do it, then I'm not accepting that from you. Now, I say it's a possibility to do it because if you could think it, there's a possibility to do it, but you ain't done it. So he always thinking like that. You know, so one day I ain't seen him in a long time, and I seen him with these, his leg was all cut up and stuff when I saw him. I saw him, you know, I had not seen him for a while, and then one day I seen him, and he had all these bandages on his leg. And I said, "What happened, man?" He said, "Man, I got hurt, man." I said, "How'd you get hurt?" He said, "Well, I was on the waiting for the train, and his voice told me to jump on the train tracks." I said, "What did you do?" He said, "I did it." I said, "Man, come on, man, you can't do nothing like that. That's not sensible. What are you gonna do with that? You gonna get hurt." But I realized, see, what happened to him, he was hearing that dark voice, that entities. So he was in a realm where he was being influenced by negative vibes, negative spirits, negative energy, and that can't happen too. You got to remember, things of God is not going to harm you. They're only going to help you. So if you hear something telling you to do something bad, say go hurt this person or slam that person against the ground or something like that, you know, you could just, if you rational, that's where you need rationality now. That's where you need to think like, nah, that's not right. That's not right because I shouldn't do something like that. So that gives you some type of balance because things that are good for you are not going to direct you to do things that are bad or bad for others. You know, it's just not going to do it. Things that are good for you are always balanced. You can feel the balance, you know. But you know, here you go again. And here is what 100% of Americans are fighting against. We fight against the holding control this flesh has over us. Because even though sometimes you hear the good voice, when that flesh is in control, it'll make you do something you don't even want to do. And a sad thing about it, and I just it just hurts my heart right here, is that we don't have many wise people to give you compassion and help you and give you the right sense of direction to get you out of it. Because many times when people do things, they don't even really want to do them. I'm talking about the average person. I ain't talking about these devils out here that have made decisions to destroy people. I ain't talking about them. That's a whole different story. I'm talking about the average human being. You don't want to do that kind of thing. You don't want to hurt yourself, but you can't stop yourself sometimes. You know, that's just like I have seen people, men and women, who have beautiful wives, husbands, and all that, and they go out and cheat on them. Not just because they want to cheat, because they can't control themselves. I mean, they literally cannot control their self because the flesh got them bound. And the thing about it, and I talk to some of them, I say, man, if you know you going to these places and they're going to tempt you, why are you even going? Why would you go? Why would you? But see, they too far gone sometimes because you start submitting and just say, you just start, you don't try to work on yourself. Now, see, that's the other thing. You see that something has you bound. If you could see it, then that means you need to go to work on yourself. That means you have to create some balance to say, hey, I can't let this flesh get me. I need to start watching what I'm thinking. I need to start meditating. I need to start doing positive affirmations. I need to start reading the scripture over and over again to impregnate my mind to get this flesh. And then also, we need to start raising our vibration high enough where the real self takes over and beats out the flesh, because one is going to have to win over the other. See, at the beginning of this, I was talking about the intuition. The intuition is connected to your soul. So that's you. Now the flesh is dealing with the physical senses. That's all it is. It's out here. So I'm not saying you're a dual being, but the soul is the real you. So the real you have to teach the objective self or the physical self the right sense of direction. The objective mind, like, nah, brother, you better slow down, Jim Shoe. Okay, daddy, because you're really, it's like the parent. The flesh is like a little kid that want to do everything. They never get enough. Don't eat enough, don't have enough sex enough, can't stay at the party long enough. But the soul gives direction and say, hey, man, it's time to go home, bro. It's time. Hey, you ain't been exercising enough. Hey, you eating too much. That's because the soul knows. See, the soul knows beyond the form. And to go to another level with this is to see why I'm gonna take black men right now. Why we getting gunned down by the police? You know what I'm saying? Because the reason is they understand us. They understand that soul that dwells within us. So therefore we're a threat. You know what I'm saying? So, because if we wake up, then we're going to be different. There's going to be a different reality. That's the battle. That's the battle. Are you going to wake up your real self? Not to digress, but I had to think about this. And I thought to myself, I say, do you really attack people who don't really have nothing in them? Think about this for yourself, y'all. Think about this for a minute. Do you sit there and attack people who don't have nothing to offer? And sit there and make Jim Crow laws, make all kind of weird stuff. You smoke weed, 1 ounce of weed, you go to jail for 30 years and all this stuff. Do you sit there and waste your time with somebody who don't have nothing to offer? There's this coon animals and all this other stuff. No, you don't. Think about this. Think about this. I just want you to think for a second. Just use your mind for a second. Get out of all the shenanigan foolishness, because it's not to harm anybody, But just think about an anthill, right? You see an anthill on the ground, and you see the ants going on there. Now, the average person is not going to mess with that anthill. Now, some people are sadistic, especially youngsters. We want to put magnifying glasses 'cause we don't know no better. We want to put water in it to see the ants. But the average human being is not going to worry about an anthill because what is an anthill going to do to you? What is it actually going to do? It don't hold. It don't. You only going to attack things or hurt things or be scared of things that's a threat. Now you get me. You get a jaguar, a panther, and had that bad baby walk down the street. You better believe people gonna be pulling out BB guns, rifles, karate sticks, whatever they can to get this because they scared of a jaguar because they know what they can do. Now, what I realize, and this is not to discount anybody or any race or anything, because I'm not about that, but I realize that black people are close to God. That we're close to God. We are. We are. And we need to stop being that again. We are close to God. Because after 400 years of slavery, and we never attacked the slave master that gave it to us. And I'm gonna say this, and I mean this, and I don't mean no flack from nobody. I know we did wrong in Africa, you know. And one of the retributions was that's why we went through this trial and tribulation. And the one thing about us, when we did wrong, we took it. We took all the things, women getting raped, men just demasculined, all this stuff. And we came back and we're able to be free now, and we need to be free. And that freedom means just leaving people alone and just building. But at the same time, I recognize that that's a special person that doesn't attack and is not angry like that to go get the person that did this to us. And also to be able to inwardly take responsibility for what you done. Now, what I want to tell, this ain't against anybody, but, I know we hurting as a people, so I had to put that in there. And as the men, we're the builders, man. We can't look for the lady to build. She do her thing. Now, I ain't taking nothing away from the sisters, man. Y'all some beautiful people. I love y'all, man. I really do. But it's time for the men to start building. Start to build and get out of this stuff and see the beauty, because I recognize when I see getting attacked all the time, you don't attack somebody who ain't bringing nothing to the table, who don't got nothing in you. You ain't going to attack somebody, you ain't going to waste your time because you ain't nothing to worry about. You ain't nothing to worry about. You're not going to worry about somebody who don't got nothing in them. But if you got something in you, and for those who attack, I'm not even talking about you either, because that's your thing. That ain't nothing to do with me. I don't have nothing to do with that. God created everything for his thing, and that's all I'm saying. God created things for his glory and his beautification, and I don't have to go against anybody. I don't have to defend. All I can do is elevate to a new space where I can be my God self. I can represent the Creator, and I can be that which is already there because it's already there. So the message is, let your soul shine out. And the way you let your soul shine out is you always filling your mind with lofty things, and you always seeking the truth and allowing the Creator to give you what you need to bring forth your wisdom and knowledge that you already had in you when you came on the planet. You already got it in you. You don't need to go read some extra book from Chicago State or from University of Illinois. I mean, those are objective realities. The things, those are objective realities. Like getting a job, yeah, you need a job. But going to the schoolroom out here thinking you're going to better you as a human being, you're not. You're just going to get a job. They can't teach you about you. You already have you in you. You just need to find the wisdom that you have in you. And another thing I want to say is, as you wake up, take full responsibility for yourself. Don't blame anybody. Don't blame anybody for your outcome. And don't worry about anybody's angles or trying to hurt you and all that. Don't worry about that. Just stay on your grind regardless. Just stay on your grind. People are people. Some are good. Some are bad. Some are destructive. Some want to whatever they want to do. Can't stop God's people though. Can't stop God's people. No. Can't stop God's people. We all God's people. But just like the Bible say, the first shall be last, the last shall be first. But we've been last for a while, you know. We have. And it's time for us to come back, not to dominate anybody else, but to bring the balance and to take the mantle of life and go forward with the knowledge. Now I'm going to end you with this, and this is why I know the world is ready for it. People all over the world went to go see Black Panther. Now look, before all the naysayers and all these people started talking about, well, we didn't make the money and Marvel made, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about the fact that people were waiting to see us in that position to do that, which people are. They're waiting to see you come back to that, because that's who we are anyway. If you look back to Egypt, and before that was Atlantis, hey, that's who we are anyway. Now, I'm going to leave with this so we keep a balanced approach. Everybody brings something to the table. Chinese, Mexican, European, we all bring something to the table. But when it's your time, and when it's your time to shine, you have to bring yourself to the table. And it's not you better than anybody. It's not that you're less than anybody. It's you bringing your expertise to the world for they can benefit. Think about this. Think about it. Saute on it and allow you to shine. Thank you. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. It ain't pausing. Come on, stop.